of my favorite parts of your story is that it wasn't always rainbows and butterflies in your career. You had the ups and downs. You went through the adversity, and that's why people like rooting for you so much, I think, and what makes your success so special. During that time in Indiana, when you had the ACL injuries, when you were struggling to stay on the field, what was going through your mind during that time?
Yeah, it was tough. Coming to college, never getting hurt, like not even a sprained ankle. It was tough. Coming there and having that torn ACL my first year, and I had a shoulder injury the second year, another torn ACL the third year, and another shoulder injury the fourth year. It was tough. It was a lot of battling back and forth in my head. It was a lot of negative thoughts coming in my head. I was trying to push those out, as much as I could. But I feel like the main thing that kept me focused and locked in is just the people around me and my family. Always supporting me, being there with me through all those hard times, and just allowing me to understand that I'm playing for something bigger than myself. And in my eyes, like I just said, my little brothers, those are my why, and people, the ones that I do it for mainly is and I couldn't let them see me quit, And so in those times, I did have those thoughts, about, if this happens again, I might be done, But at the end of the day, I knew I couldn't be that quitter. I knew that I wanted to set that example for my brothers that, things aren't always going to be easy, but you got to bounce back and persevere through it all and, continue to keep fighting and, better days are going to come.
Yeah, and the other part that's really cool about that story is so many people, athletes, even people that aren't athletes, can relate to that, right? Like being in a dark time and coming out on the other side. During that time, when you had all those injuries, when you were going through it, was there one moment that you remember being the toughest time or the toughest moment, maybe the toughest injury, and kind of how'd you overcome it?
I'd say my second ACL tear was probably the toughest. Not as far as like pain wise, because I've been through the process before,
mentally.
But it was just mentally, I'm just like, dang, that's two torn ACLs. And so the way they did it, they took my patellar tendon out of one knee the first time. The second time, they took it out the other knee. So I'm like, okay, they took my patellar tendons.
We got nothing left.
Next thing they're going to take is a hamstring tendon, and they say that's not strong enough. So it's like, in my head, it's just like, dang, I can't go through this again. So it was tough. 2021 season was real tough on me, for me to be locked in and, just give my all for my team. And I feel like I was just battling a lot, with those mindsets of me, thinking about stopping playing football because of my injuries and stuff like that. And it was always like, if I tear my ACL again, like, I don't know what I'm going to do. So it was hard for me to enjoy football at that time. But, like I said, just having those people around me continue to support me and lift me up, they kept me going. So,
do you ever sit back in this offseason with your name in the Heisman conversation, all the hype, and think about where you were just a few years ago, having those thoughts?
Yeah, man, I always think about it, and that's why when you talk about the Heisman talks on social media and stuff like that, it's like, yeah, it sounds good, but at the end of the day, I know what I got to focus on, because 2 years ago, all these people, they weren't, they didn't believe in me, they didn't expect me to have the season that I had last year, and they didn't expect University of Washington to have that season. So, it just shows, people, you can't always fall into, social media, stuff like that, no matter positive or negative, you don't want to get too high or too low on things, because at the end of the day, those social media posts, they're going to be made regardless. It's people, they're going to tweet good things or bad things. It just depends on how you plan. Yeah. So, I just try to focus on what I can do for myself and my team, to help us win football games. And, that's why I keep my focus straight and my head straight.
If there's one lesson that you learned during those few years, what would it be?
I'll say just perseverance, and just times are going to get hard. I feel like I never faced adversity like that before, so it was real tough in those moments. I didn't know how to react at first, and torn ACL was crazy because, like, when I got to college, that was like my first time hearing, like, okay, torn ACLs is like a thing, because like in high school you don't think about injuries. Yeah. Like, you don't think about anything like that. And in high school you'll get a sprained ankle or something like that. You don't really see too many torn ACLs and stuff like that. So it's like when I got that, it was like, dang, I'm out, like, for the season. So it was like something that was very different to me and hard at first, but like I said, just being able to overcome it and come out on top, I'm just blessed to be in the position I'm in. So,
take me through your transfer journey and how you ended up. I know the relationship with Coach DeBoer and how important that was for you, and kind of how it all came full circle for you right here.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, How it started, coming out of high school, I was actually committed to University of Tennessee for like 2 years, and new coach staff came in. They had their guys that they wanted.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so I got my offer taken away during that time, and Coach Sheridan, he was actually at University of Tennessee whenever I got the offer and whenever I was committed there, and he was helping out with the quarterbacks at that time, and somehow he got to Indiana, and I didn't know. Once he left Tennessee with that coaching staff, I was still committed to Tennessee, and it was like all Tennessee. And at that time, it wasn't really about the coaching staff. I just liked the culture at that time, and so whenever Coach Sheridan just kept hitting me up, he's like, I'm at Indiana now. I'm like, okay. Him and Coach Mike DeBoard was there, and those guys are at Tennessee, and those are the main reason I was ended up in Indiana, because Coach Sheridan, he was the guy that always stayed in contact. He was always texting me every day, and there was some days I'm like, hey, Coach, like, stop texting me, but he knows all love, and so I was able to get to Indiana from there, and then Coach DeBoer ended up coming in Indiana in 2019. And that's how I met him. And I just felt so comfortable in the offense and the offense that he brought to us. And, I feel like I had a pretty good year underneath him calling the plays. And, I wanted to be a part of that again. So whenever I hit the transfer portal, he was definitely one of the guys that I was looking for. And found out he was coming here to University of Washington. And I knew it was a big opportunity. And whenever they gave me that call, I took advantage of it. And I knew that this was something I wanted to do. And Coach DeBoer, he definitely had a big part in it. So it's crazy how full circle it came around.
You think Tennessee regrets pulling that offer now?
I don't know. It don't matter.
It don't matter.
It don't matter.
When you got here in last season, what was kind of the moment where it all clicked for you, where you're like, oh, this was the right choice and it's going to work out, and you kind of got that swagger and that confidence back?
So I always say, like, when I first got here, I already knew what the offense was going to be like. I knew what to expect on that, for as far as that standpoint. And so when I got here, I'm like, Coach, I don't care about the city. It got a Space Needle. Like, it's nice. It's a beautiful city. But, like, at that time, it was like, I came here for business. I wanted to help University of Washington win football games. And so I was like, Coach, I want to see the guys that I'm going to be playing with. So that was, like, the first thing I did whenever I got here. It was like I watched the film with Coach. He had cut-ups of all the guys, and I'm like, yeah, at that time I was like, okay, yeah, we're special. And then I was like, yeah, I wanted to be here. So I made that commitment, and I got here. And, like, first day of me getting here, the receivers, they hit me up like, hey, let's throw. Like, they wanted to connect.
Room too.
Yeah, so right then and there I knew. I was like, yeah, we're going to be special. That first throwing session, it wasn't perfect. Obviously, just trying to get my rhythm down with those guys, but I could just see the potential that they had. And, meeting the offensive linemen, seeing how big them boys was, and, how much work they put in the offseason. I'll say the offseason definitely showed me, that we were going to be special. I knew it deep down inside, because of the offense that we run and, the players that we had around us. I knew we were destined to be great.
Yeah. You've seen a lot of the country now. You're from Tampa, Florida, at Indiana.
Yeah.
What was the thing that surprised you the most when you got to Seattle?
All the mountains. You really don't see that on the East Coast. At least in Florida, we got hills.
It's different.
You can run up a hill, but, man, you see mountains. We got a mountain view. You sit up in the coach's office, you can see the mountains out there, and it's crazy. It's like the world is like this. And like, it was different to me, and that was the main difference to me. I'll just say the whole mountains and stuff like that. It was cool to see.
What's the one thing right now, again, had so much success, but when you watch the film, there's always room to get better, right? There's always things that you see on film. What are you working on right now that you're trying to improve on? Or when you saw last year's tape, you're like, I got to get better at this? Yeah,
I say completions. I feel like our completions, we try to get above 70% completion percentage, and last year I believe I was around 66, lower on the lower side, so that's my main focus this off season, this camp, just get completions, being able to give my guys a chance with the ball in the air, not making any foul balls, throwing out of bounds, stuff like that, giving our guys a chance. And I got a great receiving room, and those guys get open a lot, so it's definitely not hard for me to get over that 70% range. And I believe right now around during camp, I've been doing a great job with that. Make sure I'm getting a lot of completions, stacking those completions up day by day, and just taking care of the football. That was the main things.
When you look back on your career so far, what's maybe the one thing that you're the most proud of when you look at it and you say, oh, maybe it's a game, maybe it's a completion, maybe it's something with your teammate? What's the thing that you're like, I'm most proud of that moment?
Just my perseverance.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, you know, it's been hard, you know, but you know, I understand that it's a long journey, and I understand that, you know, God has a plan for me in my life, and I just got to go out there and just live up to it. And, you know, I just got to go out there and give my all, and, you know, continue to you know, show that resilient mindset and that perseverance, you know, that I have day in, day out. You know, just show guys that, you know, I'm a guy that's going to continue to keep swinging no matter what. You know, I never quit on any team that I ever played for. And that's one of the things that my dad taught me at a young age. It was like, there'll be times, you know, you're young, it's hot in Florida. It's like, I don't want to play. My dad never let us quit in anything we do, you know, and I feel like that mindset that he instilled in us is amazing. And I definitely take it with me each and every day.